How's it going, everyone? This is OP Poker James, and today we're looking at a new game type that's just come out called Deep Water Hold'em. So Deep Water Hold'em is just like regular Texas Hold'em with a third blind, the giant blind, and antes increasing for the next hand every time there is no showdown. So quite a mouthful there, but essentially it is, let's get the table up. Essentially, it's a 6 max Hold'em cash game with essentially a forced straddle. So after this pot has come out, I can start explaining what's going on. So we can see pre-flop how it works. So I'll be on the cutoff next hand. Right, so I'm on the cutoff, but there's a small blind of 25 cents, a big blind of 50 cents, a giant blind of $1, and then everyone is paying an ante right now of 40 cents. So that's the maximum ante that I'd have to pay, and that's because we haven't seen a showdown for quite a while. I think the lowest ante on this game is 10 cents, and then all the way up to 40 cents if I'm playing the 25 cent, 50 cent, $1 games. So right now I've got 2 tables going on, but we're just going to focus on the full ring game right now. Quite a bit of action already on this new game format. And we're going to talk about maybe a bit of basic strategy going forward in these games. So far, I've been doing pretty well. I'm up about $400 in the first day. And I've been playing a wide variation of limits. I started down at the 15s when there wasn't much games running, and now up to the $300 limit I've been playing. I don't think I'm ready for playing anything higher than that though, especially as we're doing that bankroll challenge, and the bankroll is sitting just about 8k at the moment. So first thing we need to notice is the button. Let's start with the button, because there are a few reasons why we might want to think we want to play more hands, and then there are reasons why we want to play less hands. So let's start with the button in that in normal Texas Hold'em, when you're on the button, you've only got 2 people to act behind you. This is max ante, so we're going to be raising. So yeah, in normal Hold'em, you got 2 people to act behind you. In this game, however, you got 3 people to act behind you. Now, what this does is create a situation where you obviously want to play less hands because there's more people to act behind. But because of there's antes where everyone's forced to pay money, you now want to play looser as the button. So trying to figure out how wide we want to play from the button is pretty hard, given all of this information is changing our standard game from one way to another. I'm just going to fold to 667. Yeah, it's very, very hard to figure out how we're meant to be playing here. What I would suggest is at the smallest antes to play it kind of the same range as 6 max for now. And then when the antes are bigger, you obviously need to be playing more and more hands. The difference between a 10 cent ante and a 40 cent ante on the button is huge, because if you fold, you only lose 10 cents normally, but if the ante is 40 cents, you're losing 40 cents every hand, which is almost a big blind every hand. So then you'd have to play loads and loads of hands. Next position I'd want to look at is small blind. I think small blind is the worst position that you can have on this deep water game. And the reason for that is pretty obvious. You're out of position against everyone. And then when you're trying to steal the blind, you've got to get through the big blind who's in position on you and the giant blind. So it's not ideal. It's not the best spot in the world to be. So based on that, I think that's the hardest spot to play. I think for the most part, you're going to have to be very tight, even though you're going to pay your small blind and you got to play that ante. I think you just have to be very tight. And then when you do play hands, just be aggressive with them. Not ideal, but it's the hardest and worst spot to play. Big blind essentially plays like small blind, in my opinion. Just a small blind with lots of dead money around. So if you get to blind v blind, you can start doing stuff like limping, especially given all of the dead money if it folds all the way to you. I've got an interesting hand up here, the ace king. Now we take it down. So, one of the things you'll notice very quickly is that people are making sizings that are probably very, very wrong. Like, you're giving me such an amazing price, there's no way I'm folding any hand. It's just like when someone free bets too small. So this is the one mistake people are making so far. And then the other mistake is being too passive. So let's say I'm in the small blind or big blind. Seems like the giant blinds aren't being aggressive, even though they've got position and they can really bully you out of pots. So I'd say those are the two situations where I think people are making big mistakes so far. Other than that, I think the variable ante is probably going to show a spot where people aren't adjusting to the size of the ante. So I think most people seem to be a bit too wide on the button when the ante is small, and then when the ante is big, probably playing the right sort of ranges. We've got way more hands going on this table here, probably because it's shorter handed. We're just four-handed. Now, when we're playing free-handed, it's the small blind, big blind, and giant blind, where the giant blind has position. So it's quite an interesting game. It's kind of similar to how the button ante works in the regular, in 6+ Hold'em. It's kind of similar to that, where you're having to pay all these blinds, and then the person whose last act pre-flop is in position. It's very similar to that. I'm going to keep on betting, I think. Now that we picked up our heart draw, I'm going to bet big, put pressure on, and if we did hit on the river, then we can look to try and get as much value as possible. However we completely bricked, I don't think I want to be bluffing. I think I'm just going to give up. Given how this person is been playing so far, I get the feeling they're more likely to be a recreational player, and I don't know if a recreational player is going to want to fold a queen, let alone an ace. I'm not going to try bluffing there. Can find probably nicer spots, as long as we make sure that we're still covering him. That's a very important part of cash game poker. So yeah, if you use the new Aurora engine, you might notice that I get to see what the ante is. If you're using the old engine, you don't get this, which is quite annoying. It means you have to add it up yourself. If you don't like the animations, which I personally love, you can just turn them off. Same with the sounds. I don't have any sounds on, especially when streaming more than one table, because people get very upset about it. So here the ante is only 10 cents. So I'm going to raise to 3.5 big blinds. But if we had max ante, I'd probably be raising to 4.5 big blinds. 4.5 giant blinds, not big blinds. In terms of big blinds, this is what, 7 big blinds? Interesting hand. I've got another interesting hand up top, which I'm going to be playing now. Where I've got jacks and free betting against someone who's ISO'd some limpers. Just got cold called as well, so it's probably going to be a more interesting pot. Oh my god. Did that really just happen? Did that really just happen? We lose to quad fives, guys. We lose to quad fives. I'm just going to let people catch up here, I think. I don't want to be betting. Just let them catch up. Turn, there's enough draws going on that I might start betting small. When I say small, I mean like really genuinely small. Just making sure if they do have a queen, they're never folding, while at the same time building the pot. If they've got a straight draw or a flush draw, they're probably not going anywhere either. We get called. Hopefully our opponents hit the flush. Fingers crossed. We want a lead out. That would be nice, wouldn't it? No, they don't. I think the only sizing we want to use is all in, and fingers crossed they were slow playing something. Those are not queens. No, snap fold. Oh well, decent size pot there. But as you can see, it's very action heavy. Lots of people sticking around, probably when they shouldn't do. The way that pot played out, let's have a look at it. So I can just show, this isn't a one-off thing, this keeps happening, so I just want to show that. This isn't a one-time occurrence. So here I am on the giant blind. This guy ISOs. We make a small free bet because we got a position on him, and then both these guys limp called. So pretty awesome for us. I've just managed to get it in with 9s against ace-8. I free bet pre-flop, and then check called. So fairly standard, kind of a caller for him, given that he had the pair. Let's go back to this hand. So yeah, all of those callers. It's pretty juicy spot for us, huh? But yeah, right now it seems to be time to print. Probably shouldn't be releasing this video and showing you all how soft these games are, but hey, I guess that's what we're here to do. Expect more strategy over on the Twitch channel once I start figuring out how to play each position. For now though, I'm having to be very vague because I really don't know. But I'm just using my gut instinct on how the positions play and how much the ante affects things, and eventually we'll start delving a little bit deeper into these spots. So let's just play this hand and then I'll sign off. So I bet the flop. I'm going to check back. I think. Very nice, very nice river card. If it came like a jack or something like that and we were bet into, I'd probably call because I think it's less likely they're going to value bet a better 8 than me. And they've got a bunch of missed draws. However, if a lower card came out like a 6 or a 7, I would just be folding to a bet. This pot size bet, I probably need to just flat call because 6-7 got there. That's what he's representing. Doesn't look great. I don't feel great about it, but hey, they had the 7-4. Very nice. Never folding 2-pair. Can't fold 2-pair. So I think my standard size on the small ante should be 3.5 or 4 big blinds. I'm not 100% sure on it yet. But yeah, we're going to set out next hand after this one. And we get bet into and we fold. So yeah, so far games have been pretty good, nice and soft, and looking forward to the future. We will be streaming this on the op.poker Twitch channel, not just myself but also Nick. I think we're going to be trying to do as much strategy as possible. We've got a Discord channel, so I'm going to pull it up now. And on it, we've got a deep water section that we just added to the Discord. You can find the link up to the Discord in the description below. I would highly suggest checking it out if you want to talk strategy. I think this kind of game is really the sort of game that you need to start talking to your peers and developing a strategy. And I would have to presume that our Discord is the best place to do it. So I hope to see you all guys over there, and I'll speak to you soon. Ciao for now.